optics. It's a game that they're playing, and this is what they do. And they think that you guys aren't either paying attention or you can't see what they're doing.
Or that you're outright stupid, and you have to call it what it is, and that's not appropriate for me just being a... Good evening. This is Dr. Curry.
This is Coby Owens.
Shané Darby.
And welcome to The Source. We have a whole lot of news, so we need to get right to it. Today, last week, we had a pair of shootings that occurred. I want to talk about the first one that the Wilmington Police Department is investigating now, where there was two, one on December the 7th, as well as there was one on that Friday, where I guess the first one I want to do on 23rd Street and Market, where a 25-year-old was shot. Any more information on that at all?
Yeah, just that a 25-year-old was shot and was taken to the hospital in stable condition. Again, as we've said multiple times, there has not been any additional updates on this. We have seen a spike in the city of Wilmington. We are ahead of the crime statistics from the prior year, from 2022. And this police department refuses, right? And again, I'm guessing it's coming from the mayor, but refuses to get out and do a press release to give an update on the community on what's truly going on. And you have members of council who sit there and want to praise the officers when we're seeing more violence on our streets currently.
You're praising the city? You're doing that? Huh?
You think I am?
He said city council, so I'm trying to turn to you now. So I'm trying to see, is it you who's praising that? Yeah, we're hearing that there's a tick. We're seeing that there's a tick. All of them are not being reported, and I just don't know what's going on. I mean, is there a reason why? Is there a reason why we don't report them? Is that they got some kind of other undercover thing going on?
They said they don't want to. It was asked.
It goes against the narrative. They put all this money into It's Time Wilmington to get people to move here. How could they put out that there's actually issues here? Wow. We're one of the best small cities to move to. You see the article that come out that John Rago helps write.
Yeah.
And but the people who are living here are not aware of the fact that right next door to them, people are being shot right in the same communities they're living in, and they can't barely go to the store because they're afraid they're under gunfire?
Well, of course not. I mean, this is the same mayor administration who, when a bank executive was killed downtown, right? They held off releasing it until the end of the PGA Tour.
Wow.
That little PGA Tour that they had come here, where they allowed, them to come with the little BMW SUVs and drive all crazy through the city, park up on the sidewalk and everything. But, we would get tickets if we did that. But again, this is the same mayor's administration. They care about that instead of actually hearing what the community wants to see. And also just addressing the basic issues that are going on in the city.
But as I'm thinking about this now, if the mayor is not running again, he don't have anything to lose. Why won't he allow the truth just to be the truth? He's not running again?
Well, he has a legacy to maintain.
Oh,
right?
A legacy.
So he wants to pass the baton to Governor John Carney, who filed a committee to raise money to run for mayor of the city of Wilmington. So it's legacy, and he wants to keep his legacy going, right? So when you as any elected official or a person, you start something, you want to see it finished, you want to see it completed, you want to see the continuation of that. So that's why he's still invested, right? But to me, he's not a factor anymore. But I know when
he's still a factor because if they don't.
To me, he can go. Okay. But on 23rd and Market, I think is a hot block or a hot spot that hasn't gotten a lot of attention. And Gordon Street, which is a street that I've been talking about for a while in regards to development. It's right off of 22nd, 23rd and Market. And right there, it used to be a tent city. So there's a lot of unhoused people on Market Street, on Gordon Street, and even that neighborhood that sits right there. There's a lot of issues with vacant homes. Opioid crisis is happening right now. I know Councilmember Oliver has been doing some door-to-door or street-to-street walk-in to hand out Narcan, I believe she's doing. So I know that she's trying to put work in starting like a few weeks ago around those issues, but that's a neighborhood that's experiencing so much, like poverty, drugs, unhoused. You have 3 liquor stores in a 2-block radius.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So you have a lot of people who have mental health issues. You'll drive down the street, you might see somebody butt naked walking down the street.
Oh, wow.
Right? Like seriously. Like like dead serious. Like that is what you're gonna see. You're gonna see a whole bunch of people who are under the influence sitting at the bus hub. Right? That is what you're gonna get between like that Concord Ave intersection area with Vandiver and Market, all the way down to about maybe like 25th.
Okay.
You're gonna get that. And right there in that small neighborhood, you have everything you can think of.
This is really not good. I mean, and you get a person who's shot. Now again, we don't know if this 25-year-old is doing well or not because there's been no more public information on that. But how do you think the families are taking this? I mean, is this type of the legacy, I guess, is what is going to be produced. But if this is really happening, can the legacy be real that he's trying to maintain?
No, it's all an illusion. And again, this is why you invest in such a good communications team to try to control the narrative so that you look good, right? It's all an illusion out there. The city is not in the best condition it can be in. And that's because of the last 7 years, almost 8 years of this administration. It is what it is.
Yeah,
we have more vacant properties. We have more vacant office spaces than ever before. So the whole, let's get a developer, he'll be good for business, is false. We've had more Black and brown businesses close up their doors, more mom and pop shops close up their doors under this administration. And now they keep giving away millions and millions and millions of taxpayer dollars to these other developers, Bacini, Paulin, and them. And what are we seeing? Half empty buildings, and then they build more buildings when the money should be going into the community.
Well, they building more buildings because there is a plan. And I've been saying this forever, and people are not listening to me, especially here in some people here in South Bridge, that this whole gentrification or regentification that is occurring is really happening, and it doesn't always have to happen expeditiously. Sometimes it happens over time. And I'm just concerned that we are continuously hearing about these shootings. Some are reported, some are not reported, and it's just not good. And the same thing happened on Friday. Last Friday, we ran into a situation where a person was shot around the 400 block of West 7th Street. Any more information on that?
Just that the person was transported to the hospital in stable condition.
Yeah, 43.
And that's the only information that was put out, that they went to the hospital in stable condition.
Where is the press? You know, it's supposed to be free press. Even if the city, we can say easily that the police department doesn't want to put out a press statement. But where is the press to be able to inform the community these things are occurring? Because you can put the pressure on even a good team to tell the truth.
There's a lot of good reporters out there, don't get me wrong, but Gannett, when they purchased the news journal Delaware Online, they have stripped that staff down. They are literally on a skeleton staff. We used to have 3-4 reporters dedicated to the city of Wilmington. Now we have one and kind of a half of one who's also dedicated to 2 other subjects that they have to focus in on. So when you do that and then they write stories, right, and then their stories get killed by editors, it can be very defeating for a reporter as well, too, who's trying to get the news out there because they believe that it's supposed to be free press, but big corporations now run our local papers.
Yeah, I think, and that at some point we have to figure out how do we get press here in the city. And I know that if they have connections, given the fact that it's so watered down, now they're able to still do what they do, and that is to stop bad press. But to believe that there's no issues going on in the city of Wilmington, when in actuality there are. I mean, and people are constantly being shot. When Dennis Williams was in charge, they called this murder town USA or something like that. I've not seen any signs. I've not seen anybody put anything out saying that now. Why? I guess it's because the mayor has a very strong control over it. It's not good. It's not healthy neither. And it's one more I want to talk about before we go to any breaks. Is something happened at PS DuPont where a gentleman was shot somewhere else, and then he allegedly got to PS DuPont a parking lot, and then SUV must have. I'm just going off of what I've read in the paper. Any more information on that?
Yeah, so there was a shooting at the smoke shop up at a BP on Miller Road.
Okay.
The individual was hit and then tried to drive away. Only got a block and a half away to where PS is and crashed into the fence. Okay. And that's later where I believe he was shot again there, and that's where he died. And it was a huge police presence there Saturday evening around 7 o'clock.
Wow. Now, which district is that? That's over there. That's
the first district. That's the first representative, first council.
Okay. Now, who is it? That's your district, isn't it?
That's the district I live in, but it's Vincent White is the councilman.
Now, has he put any statements out on this?
Absolutely not.
Because this is the type of, we can't keep just blaming the mayor. We have to start saying if you're a city council person, something needs to be put out on this one. Because to my understanding, there's some. I don't want to get too far in it because I'm not a reporter and I don't know all the details, but this is some gang-related stuff going on here. And I'm just concerned about my seniors. I'm concerned about the young children who are in this community, and nothing is being put out. No information. If you don't follow the news, there was no TV press put out on this. Why is there no press at all, whether it be from city council, whether it be from the mayor's office, whether it be from the police department, whether it be from WDEL or News State Watch or whatever? Why isn't this stuff being followed?
I think for city council, we receive information probably the same time you do or after. It's not like we get a special email, a special call.
But if something happens in your district, can't you put out a statement?
Oh yeah, you can. But what I'm saying is, she probably didn't know it happened.
How could something happen in your district and you not know?
That happens all the time.
But you got to. In other words, I know y'all don't sit and y'all part time. So you don't probably sit in your district and wait for something to happen. But so you're saying maybe the person was not informed. Maybe Vincent White was not informed.
How can you be informed? We're not informed. Like, I don't know things until people reach out to me. Like, literally, like, yo, you heard this happen? Nope. Oh, that happened? All right,
I thought y'all was on this special thing with the police. At one point they were, where if something happens in the city, a shooting occurs, city council was informed.
So according to our civic association, which Vince is also the president of, he has the best relationship with the cops. And anything that happens in the district, he gets informed right away.
Right, okay.
That's why at this last civic association meeting just this past week when he was asked, and he said he can't comment on it, it kind of left everyone sitting in the room like, so what's actually going on? We don't have the relationship that a council person may have with the police, right? They're going to answer you different than they're going to just answer someone from the regular community. But again, this happened at a school, right? Whenever you find a body at a school, you're going to get a lot of questions from the community. Absolutely. Just period.
Wow. It's too much secrecy going on. There's too many people being stifled. It's like, who's free to do anything? I feel sorry for those who live in the city, especially those who didn't have means, because they have to sit and live under this type of harassment. And then you go into other parts of the city and things are just flourishing and doing very well. This is just really preposterous and it's just horrible. And it's like, we are not officially the news reporters from the city, from the press, but we try to just bring to your attention many things that are happening in and around the city of Wilmington. And the shooting is up. It's up, and it's It's not being talked about because there's a narrative, I'm told, that has to be portrayed, and they have to control that. So that means the police department cannot put it out, cannot share it with the city council, and the city council, if they don't know, how are they going to be able to inform you? You go to a civic association meeting because you heard through the grapevine that there was a murder in your district, and now we can't talk about it. I don't understand it. Well, why can't you talk about it? If you know maybe some things about it you can't talk about, but for the most part, at the heart of what's going on should be talked about, because it put other people at risk when there is no information to be able to protect yourselves appropriately or be able to watch from going different places. This occurred in 2 different locations in that district. Mm-hmm. It started in that Home Depot area, and then it ends up being right here in a schoolyard. Now, this thing is just horrible. The last thing I will do in my segment of the show, which is the local news, is to really talk about something really good. I was really impressed. I sent Dr. Allen, who is the president of Delaware State University, congratulations text and just sharing with him. He's doing a phenomenal job with Delaware State University. But Magic Johnson came to town and raised over $3 million in one setting. And I think that's probably going to be the most Delaware State have ever done in a one setting situation, especially for HBCU. That may not be a lot of money for some schools, but I'll say congratulations to Dr. Allen and his whole team down there who are doing some phenomenal things, getting Delaware State on the map, doing some outstanding academic and scholastical things. And congratulations to you, Dr. Allen, on doing a phenomenal job as leading Delaware State University. Any comments on that before we go?
And I believe they received their biggest alumni gift ever. From Steve Ewing,
okay.
Who is an alumni who lives down in Atlanta. And he actually has I think he just sold it off, but he had one of the top 100 Ford dealerships in that Atlanta metro area down there.
Okay.
I believe it's called Wade Ford.
Okay. Excellent. And because it's interesting, people say, well, HBCU's alum doesn't give any money back. But one of the things y'all got to really pay attention to, for those of you who have gone to historically Black colleges, is that many of us went on loans. Okay, which means when we graduate, we do well, but we got to pay all those loans back. So the giving is always lower than when you go to some of these Ivy League schools where you got all these scholarships, you got all these fellas and everybody else giving you money, you didn't have many loans, and you can just go ahead and give. So it's good to hear that they're even doing well with some of their alum. This gentleman who did very well. Congratulations to all of them. Any comments at all? You all right? You're just looking around and you're very calm. We ready to go to Shané. We ready to go to your scoop and see what's going on because you're too calm right now. So we're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to come right back.
Tune in at 8 a.m. every Sunday for our worship services. Join us at 9 a.m. on YouTube and Facebook Live by typing Zion Fair Baptist Church. We are Wilmington's most exciting church.
Hello, my name is Eugene Young. I'm incredibly thankful to be here. I am a candidate for U.S. Congress, and I believe when it comes to Congress, it comes to service. One of my favorite lines about service is you can't lead without loving, you can't save without service. So what's the depth of your love, or what's the quality of your service? So this aspect of love and service is what brings me here before you today, and wanting to take that and extend that into Congress as we move forward. I look at my last 20 years of serving the community, and I look forward to having another 20 and being able to find more ways to even better serve the community, which has given me so much. So please feel free to join us at eugeneyoung.com. That's EUGENEYOUNG.com. That's eugeneyoung.com. If you're interested in volunteering or donating, it could be $5 a month, it could be $100 a month, it could just be a standard donation of $10. We appreciate it all. Thank you so very much, and wishing you a wonderful, beautiful day.
And we're back. Well, since you've been so calm the whole first part of the show, let's see what's going on with Shané's scoop today.
Yes, no, I know we got news this morning that Desmond Baker is resigning from the Planning Commission. So the city of Wilmington, we have a city planning commission. It is 5 mayoral appointees, the city of Wilmington director of finance, and the mayor's office chief of staff. So you have Tanya Washington, the chief of staff on there, Brett Taylor, who's the director of the Department of Finance. We have Anthony J. Hill and then Joseph Chickadale. And then the acting president at that time was Mr. Desmond Baker, but he has resigned. And it's interesting because it happened at a time where there was recently a major vote about the community wanting to have a warehouse project happen over South Bridge. And the community, they were in like, we want this. Like city council, we signed a letter to the planning commission saying that we're in support of this. Like it was a lot of support from the community. From council, the council member from that district, council member Michelle Harley, was in support of it and helping to organize with all of the community leaders in South Bridge. And then we get there, there's a vote with 5 people, and the support for the community initiative failed. Yeah, it was defeated.
Well, you can continue with your reporting, but I want to say this. I was at a meeting a year about a year ago, where the mayor showed up with one of his security people to a meeting that I was also at, where the South Bridge, not Civic Association, but the South Bridge, this little 501c3 that they have, that's led by Hanifa, he was on the agenda to say, I'm not supporting it. I remember that very clearly. He was very clear, I'm not supporting it, and the community was pretty strong in saying, no, we want this, okay, especially Hanifa's group. But I noticed when he left, he tapped her on the shoulder and said, I'll see you later. So obviously, he still has some connections with Hanifa, but I'm shocked that he would really be against it, but it doesn't fit into his as using your language, that warehouse and poverty housing, I guess you would call it, doesn't fit into his narrative.
Yeah, no, this is, South Bridge is Riverfront 2.0. Okay? South Bridge is not going to be the South Bridge we know. They're going to wrap around and develop South Bridge. They're going to have high-end apartments. They're not going to be affordable. They're going to do all the development that they did at the Riverfront, which actually, they didn't even meet the occupancy that they're supposed to hit at Riverfront 1.0. So how y'all even get money to do 2.0?
Are you saying they're developing more properties with half-empty buildings, but then now Bacini Pollen is getting even more taxpayer dollars to build a new warehouse right across the water, and then it's going to come over here to South Bridge, and this, what the South Bridge residents wanted, doesn't fit in to the Bacini Pollen plan,
so therefore
where they control the mayor?
Correct.
And y'all may think we're being facetious. We're not. This is serious. And the problem is you got those sellouts like Hanifa who acting like she really for it, but because the mayor is not for it, doesn't matter. That's me talking now. And I watched that dynamic where he said, I'm not for it. And everybody in the room for that civic association was for it. And even I was for it. I was asked by the reporters, where you sit on this? And I said, I'm for it. Why? Because it would have brought direct jobs to this community. You didn't have to have a high school, you didn't have a big time degree. It would have brought income. The man was able to show how it would bring employment, but it did not fit into the scheme. I'm sorry to cut you off on that, but I
spoke to Hanifa about this, and she was in support of this.
Yes, she was.
Okay, yeah.
But let me tell you something. It's one thing to be publicly in support of it, but recognizing where your bread and butter come from. She was out against me. She wasn't that way against this. She just was saying, we for it. But I didn't see any extra efforts to really do a protest downtown. This community was for that project.
Yeah, no, I agree. Now, so it's just unfortunate that Mr. Desmond Baker is stepping down. He was on the Planning Commission. I forgot, he said how long, but it was
28 years.
Yeah, like 2 decades, right, of work and dedication to the city in this role. And he was, I know specifically, he's saying it's not connected to that vote, which I think he's bowing out gracefully, which, I respect him for doing.
And he's like, a great guy.
He's like, I ain't going to get messy with it. I'm just going to leave. And it probably was the last straw for him.
Right, that's right.
Like, I'm tired of this because you have a mayor administration who appoints the planning council, who has control over the planning council, right? So then what decisions you think they're going to make in support?
Yeah, and I paid attention to the dynamics of the vote. First of all, it's supposed to be 7 people on that committee.
Yes.
It's only
Vacancy.
5.
Yeah.
All right. So we got 2 vacancies. You
Down
got
3.
I said it again. Now 3. But think about this. The vote was 2-5. Okay. The 2 African Americans
2
voted.
to 3.
Voted to support it.
2
to 3.
2 voted yes. The 2 African Americans voted yes.
And the 3 other persons voted no. Now that was an optic thing.
Yeah, that was an optic thing because the chief of staff is in alignment with the mayor.
100%.
Right? So she knows that it would look bad, but she knows that they convinced the other people to already say no. So she didn't have to say it. She didn't have to be an extra no for them.
Absolutely.
It's optics. It's a game that they're playing, and this is what they do.
That's-
And they think that you guys aren't either paying attention or you can't see what they're doing.
Or that you're outright stupid. And you have to call it what it is. And that's not appropriate for me just being on this TV show. But that's exactly what they're trying to do. To make sure that they know they're smarter than you. That you don't have the faculties to understand that the mayor's supporting it because his chief of staff, he appointed all of them. All of them. Okay? And he already had his 3 to make sure it didn't go forward. But his chief of staff voted in favor of it. Just so it can make it look like the mayor was going to support it.
Yeah, and my thing is, why were they against it, right? Why was Brett Taylor, the Joseph guy, and who was the other one? Anthony Hill, why? They need to tell the community why.
They're not going to tell the community why. Because the mayor said no. He came into Southbridge about a year ago in that meeting that Southbridge was against me as well, and said very clearly, I am not in support of it. He heard the arguments of the community. He heard them directly. And he responded by saying, I'm just not in support of it. He tapped Hanifa on the shoulder with his security guy and left out of the room. And a year later, the vote is 3-2. They're not with it and they don't have no real justifications for why they don't do that. They just vote and they can't be reelected because guess what? It's appointing positions. By who? The person who's not running again. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. So that is just, and we talk about, and it makes me go into this thing about, as we think about the dynamics of the voting and the optics in that and the games that politicians play. I just also want to be careful because one thing about me, I go direct to the source, right? And I ask questions. I'm very direct with people. I'm going to ask them like, hey, do you support this? Have you done this? And I don't want to name names today. I want to wait to see. But I know that several people had told me that there's a group, 3 black men who we believe are sellouts and that they're supporting John Carney, right? And my thing is, not one of those people ever reached out to those 3 people. Right. So y'all going around spreading rumors, spreading things that you don't even know is true without speaking to the source. That's my problem. People don't stand on business and they just running their mouth, right? And for me, I think we have to be very careful who's putting the message out and why. And I think that this message is coming out from the Carney campaign to cause confusion and division amongst us, amongst the black community in regards to how we're moving for this mayoral campaign. And I think it's unfortunate and disheartening that a lot of people are going with this retort and never spoke to the source. Because I'm going to tell you one thing about Wilmingtonians and Delawareans, they will talk about you bad behind your back, right? And then never say nothing to your face. And every time they see you, they'll say hi. They'll try speaking to you, all this other stuff, but never come to you. And I'm going to come to the source. I'm going to tell you exactly how I stand. And I don't see that happening here, but I want the community to be very careful about what they're hearing about other black folks and their stance on this mayoral race, unless that black person publicly came out and says, I support John Carney, right? Be careful what you're saying and what you're spreading. And if you want to know the answer, stop being scared and just go to the source of the person. Like, stop it. Like, I'm tired.
Is there some kind of mystery? Because I'm a little lost here, but I don't want you to reveal things. But I'm trying to understand: is there some rumor out there that somebody is supporting somebody?
Yeah, that they're supporting John Carney and they're calling them sellouts. Yeah, black people.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So that message really came from just rumors, and I heard it several times. Right. And it got to a point where I was like, I'm going to call them because at this point I need to know. Okay. And they was like, oh, no one called me. No one has reached out.
No one's reached out.
No one's reached out to ask.
But people are putting
Well,
out
people
there.
are putting it out there.
That they are supporting
Yeah.
John. Oh, okay. So you kind of gave it to me in a mystery, and I was kind of confused. I didn't know exactly what you were saying.
No, that's it.
So you're saying when a person say that Pastor Curry is supporting someone, go to Pastor Curry and ask him.
Go to Pastor Curry and ask
Okay,
him.
I got you
Stop
said.
being,
Okay.
Stop being,
Okay.
stop. Just, just go ask. Stop being what the traditional Wilmingtonian and Delawarean is. Stop.
Okay.
Just stop.
So
especially
go
in
to the
Black
source and
community.
ask whether before you
Yeah,
do some
people
meeting.
don't do that. People talk about you behind your back and then smile in your face and will believe something about you. So I just want to say rumors, and I think that it's actually something coming out from John Carney, from his campaign, his team, putting out these messages that creates division amongst us. Right? And I think it's wrong, and we cannot allow the John Carney team to have that much power, and we need to be smarter about how we're moving.
Okay.
So that's all I'm saying about that. And as we move forward, I'll give more as I talk to more people.
Gotcha.
And then a few days ago, I guess I'm the first city council person to make an announcement that I'm going to run for 2nd District City Council.
okay.
So I'm going to enter into hopefully my 2nd term. Currently, no one else hasn't said that they were running, but I'm excited to be on this journey again. I feel like there's a lot of projects I probably need to close out. I don't plan on being a city council person forever, probably like another 3rd term, probably not. I think 8 years is enough. I'm not a career politician. I probably go up higher or do something different.
But you was never a politician. You supposed to be a public servant. And
I'm a public
servant. And if the Lord
Right.
says that you need to serve another term, you will have to. So don't start talking.
Oh no,
about what
I'm
you're
not
gonna do.
doing district level again. Like I am
You're
never,
not.
I
You
am
don't know
not
what God
doing
has for
district
you.
level.
How are you? You're not God.
I am not
And
doing
if
district
God
level.
says you're going to, you will. And I'm telling you right now on this show.
Okay.
So let God.
Best believe
Because
me.
you can tell you something. When you don't do what God say do, He will do other things because He's in charge.
Okay. I am not doing district level again, but I'm gonna do it for a second time. Okay. I'm telling y'all, it is especially let's see how it turns out next year in regards to who is on city council and the mayor's race on where I go next. Like, am I gonna completely be done with politics?
all right,
No.
okay.
I'm gonna go somewhere different.
Okay.
I am not staying at 2nd
We
district
need
level.
you in Wilmington. We need your voice.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be a voice, and I
Okay.
can be a voice. But if I don't have support, it's hard to be that voice when I could be more effective if I go other
sis.
places.
What just happened with that last situation where all the people went down there and they had city council to change their mind?
Yeah, no, that was powerful.
You are effective. You got to learn patience, sis.
Okay.
And you're doing a good job with learning. You're not as wildfire as you were a year ago. You're getting there. Chill out.
I don't know what you're talking about. Wildfire.
Meaning you get mad about something, you go at it.
I've always been like how I am now. I haven't changed much. I think that your perspective, that's why I started thinking you sit down, because what other people may be telling you and your stereotype might not be right about me.
Oh, I'm so sorry that you think that I stereotype. But I do sometimes, but for the most part, you've calmed down a whole lot.
Nah, I did.
Okay. Maybe I see more of the substance then.
I think that's probably what you see. I don't think you really knew me.
Okay.
Yeah.
God bless America. Now, let's go back to this. You will do what God say do. That's what I said. Okay. And if God said you're gonna run again, you're gonna run again.
Okay, yeah, one more term. I got you.
Okay. Go ahead, sis.
Yeah. No, that's all I have today is really just hitting on just be careful what is being put out to divide us in the Black community. Desmond Baker stepping down, and that I'm one of the first council people to announce that I am running again for the 2nd district seat for a 2nd term.
Yeah, I'm very glad that you're running again, and I will continue to support you.
Thank you.
And I do believe in you, seriously. I don't care what you said that people done told me. I don't know what they told me. You have to tell me one day. But I will say this. You are very keen, and you pay attention to certain details, and the community need a voice. Those who are voiceless need a voice.
Yeah.
And you have been that voice. So that's why you never know. And I don't know what God has for your life, but whatever it is, it has to be able to represent the voiceless. And you have done a very effective job. And I'm glad you're running again. Yeah. And I'm looking forward. So I will give you another $1.50 contribution.
All right, I'll send you the link.
So that you will be able to continue your quest.
Well, let's go
so
to make
much.
on-call time.
Yes, I told you it's $1.50 because it doesn't matter how much as long as you give, right? Look, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back.
New guests, new conversations, new stories every Sunday at 11 a.m. Grab your cup of coffee and tune in with Dr. Curry for our weekly episodes of Coffee with Curry.
Join us at 9 a.m. on YouTube every Sunday by typing Zion Fair Baptist Church.
Oh my God, help me today. Which means every storm is a school. Every trial is a teacher. Every experience is an education. And every difficulty is development.
We are Wilmington's most exciting church.
And we're back. Well, Brother Coby, you've been sitting over there quiet today. Everybody quiet today. Let's see what's going on with the Coby Corner.
Well, so I want to start out with some national news and everything. So down in Georgia, there was a lawsuit earlier this year in which a group of plaintiffs filed led by the Alphas, a D9 fraternity. And they won this lawsuit.
Okay.
And it was to increase the power of Black vote down in Georgia through the congressional maps and the state legislator maps. Well, the judge came back, said, we agree with you. You have to redraw the maps. The General Assembly redrew the maps and they made it even worse. So now the Alphas have now filed a new lawsuit challenging the new draft of the election maps. The interesting point of this is, especially on a congressional level, there's a very small window that they have left for this to be heard and a decision to be made on it about the current draft, this current new draft. If nothing is done within the next 4 months, these will be the maps that they use for the 2024 elections. And if the lawsuit comes out in the favor of the Alphas again, then the new map won't even go into effect until 2026. So it could have a whole 2-year devastating impact on the people of Georgia.
What's the use of having a constitution when you have a lawsuit and the lawsuit you won and people still do what they want to do?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This is also why I know people talk about the importance of the presidency, right? But it's not just voting for the president. The president gets to pick who gets to sit on our Supreme Court. And our current Supreme Court is trash when it comes to voting rights. You have 5 members on there who have made it their life mission, including a Black man.
Oh, yeah.
Who has made it their life mission to not only strip the VRA, the Voting Rights Act, but then also other things that have helped African Americans, including affirmative action that Clarence Thomas benefited from, but then he went and wanted to ski the slopes. But again, this is the issue that we have. We will see what happens with this lawsuit. The new draft of the maps have been signed by the governor, who is a Republican. He's term limited, so there will be a new governor come 2026. But hopefully this lawsuit, it is worked out prior to the 2024 time period in which they need to go ahead and get new maps drawn and allow for the following period to take place. Next, so SB 9 passed last year, and it created a task force to assure to create recommendations to assure all rental properties built before January 1st, 1978 was screened for lead and paint hazard. These screenings are supposed to take place for both pre and post rental inspections, right? Through that process. And especially when a new tenant comes in, making sure that there has been an update if they haven't been able to get into the unit prior to that. All of this is supposed to be done before January 1, 2026. There has been a new recommendation, or a new list of recommendation by the Childhood Lead Poison and Prevention Advisory Committee. And they delivered that to the Lead Safe Rental Housing Plan to the governor and to the General Assembly, that they can start taking action on in January when they all come back into session. It was 11 recommendations implementing the plan, including amending the residential landlord-tenant code to create penalties for landlords that fail to provide lead-safe or lead-free certification. This is huge because right over here, right over East Side, there was a landlord who had testing done in the building, knew that there was lead in the building, and did nothing about it. When the resident in there had a young child who then became sick because of the lead that was in the on the walls and everything, instead of addressing the issue, he went to evict the family.
Oh, wow. Gee.
Yeah.
Went to evict the family. It's an ongoing lawsuit right now. I think, again, I'm not a lawyer or a legal expert, but I think they have a very solid case here.
I'm sure they do.
And I hope that the courts side with them, but you never know with these courts. But again, that has happened numerous times, not just in Wilmington, but up and down this state. Another key recommendation that I think is going to be good is it is a civil penalty of $500 a day, as well as a suspension to access to possession of rental units for the fail to file a lead safe or lead free certification with the state.
Yeah.
So that is going to be huge, and will lead to people losing their licenses to rent.
But see, enforcement is my biggest problem because we don't do a lot of enforcement and it creates all kind of problems. But people, I hope you understand that lead poisoning it affects growth, development, brain. You cannot take this lightly. Years ago, when I was raised in the projects, it was a lot of lead poisoning going on, and a lot of times when a house was built before '71, when it starts really raising the awareness of lead poisoning, children would just get, especially poor children, they were just being overwhelmed with the poisoning. And I'm hoping that people will take this serious. And for the landlord, this is why I'm even talking now. For the landlord, if he or she did that, evict or move to evict a family because of raising the issue of lead poisoning, they need to have their licenses taken forever and go to jail.
And I also want to add too with the lead stuff, I feel like it's becoming a big conversation here, but Newcastle County has a lead remediation removal program. I actually participated in it. I had lead in my home. They removed the lead. I know I had legislation on the city level, but the state is going to address most of that, so I probably don't need to present it. So that's what we've been in conversation about. But then also Newcastle County gave, I have a nonprofit called Black Mothers in Power. They gave us funding to have lead ambassadors to be able to do education and to do referral programming to the Newcastle County program to get more people to the program so they can get the lead removed from their home. So that's something in the process to roll out in January, where we want to be able to hit specifically the city of Wilmington, but of course Newcastle County, which they want us to hit. But it's so key and important for if a pregnant woman is exposed to lead, right? Yes. It can cross the placenta to the fetus. Its high blood levels during pregnancy increases the risk of miscarriage, can make the baby be born early or a low birth weight, and even low levels of lead in children can cause behavior and learning problems. And you think about, there's more lead in Black communities, and you think about the correlation between, specifically when you talk about, I think about Dr. Umar Johnson, and he talk about Black boys and how they label them with behavior and learning problems, right? It's all connected to like environmental injustice, historical structures and racism and like policy that have happened that all bundle into one. And I feel like lead played some type of role in that because it's heavy in poor neighborhoods where there's older homes and in the city areas, which is more Black and brown people. So
and for Black Mothers in Power, if someone wanted you to come in and talk to them about that, how can they get in contact with y'all?
You can just email me, blackmothersempower@gmail.com. So we're currently looking to hire two lead program ambassadors. So we're posting it on our website. So if you go to our Instagram, our Facebook, it tells you the instructions to be able to apply. It's like 40 hours a month. You're going to table events, do some education at daycares, libraries, different places throughout the city of Newcastle County, just to bring awareness to people about this exists and then refer them out. So it's not even just the education piece, but we got assistance for you. And what's really cool about the lead program assistance is that if there's other issues in your home, they'll also fix that too. So I had a pipe that froze in the wintertime in my basement. In my bathroom on the first floor. They're gonna come and fix that. You feel me? No cost to me. Okay,
Right.
so
Good stuff.
and they fix some other stuff too. So yeah.
So definitely when you're doing more of those seminars and stuff like that, definitely let us know so we can share. Also, me personally, I want to share with the families at the PAL as well too.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Put it out there. And speaking about the impacts, right, that has on the community, I also want to talk about the AIRS report that was just released. This comes from the lawsuit that the NAACP, the Delaware State NAACP, and the ACLU filed back in 2018 that was settled in 2020. An assessment report was supposed to be done by an independent organization, one that's outside the state of Delaware. And that report has finally come in. It was done by the American Institute for Research, AIR. That's why we call it the AIR report. But it came out and it, again, highlighted some extreme needs when it comes to education opportunity and education equity in our funding system. But some of the things that they talked about in this and some of the key findings was there needs to be better adequate levels of resources appropriated to meeting the unique populations served by the schools and school districts. They recommended that at base minimum, right, that we see additional $590 million invested into our school, and at maximum or up to $1 billion invested into our schools by 2030, right? This is huge. If you look at it, they looked at the areas around us. In fourth grade reading national assessment, right? The big test that they make all these kids study for, make the teachers teach to. Delaware is more than 6 points below Maryland, more than 7 points below Virginia, almost 10 points behind Pennsylvania, and 13 points behind New Jersey. Those are the surrounding states, right? We are one of the lowest in the country, right? We sit at about 46 in the nation, right? We are 46 for reading, but overall education, we are 47th or 48th. That's the only two states that are worse than us are Alabama and Mississippi. It is a shame that we have used this outdated unit-based system, resource-based system, instead of using a student-based, per student-based formula and system, right? What this report's recommending is our current levels, we spend on average, this is all 19 school districts, includes some of the charters as well too, about $15,000 per student, right? And that, again, that's for all resources that goes to teacher salary, admin salary, all that, right? So it's not really that $15,000 is going to the actual student. Based off the settlement and the lawsuit that originally, right, with the additional money going into it, it pushed up to about $19,000 per student. With this additional money going in, it will take it to $22,000 per student, right? So that's from $15,000 to $22,000 per student. The person and the man who was truly behind this lawsuit and forever hopefully changing the way we look at education funding in the state of Delaware was our former co-host, Jay Street. He even formed an organization to originally file this called Delawareans for Educational Opportunity. And again, this lawsuit is going to be huge, right? If the General Assembly and the governor have the courage to act on it, right? But also, we're going to be having a new governor very soon. Right. We're going to be electing new state senators and new state reps very soon, right? So this should be one of the frontline things, because one of the most important things that you can invest in, that I would want my taxpayers' dollars going to, is not a warehouse over Southbridge where they're building more retail space and commercial real estate, but I would want my taxpayer dollars going to our students and investing in our future here in Delaware across the entire state. But you know, we got to have individuals who are in Dover who have the political courage to stand up and do what's right. But again, another key finding in this study is there needs to be more transparency in our funding system and how they're reporting out, how that money's being spent, and also more flexibility in the resources that go to the school districts as well too. I've talked in depth with administrators at Red Clay, at Brandywine, at Apple, at Capitol down in Kent County about when they do have more flexibility with funding, what they're able to do, what they've tried to show the districts that they can do, which they try to show the states what they can do if they had a little more power to kind of dictate where that money goes to and really try to meet the needs of students who are truly underserved in this system. And again, this goes a long way. This is also, I think it should be paired hand in hand with Representative Ray Moore's HB 125, and Senator Lockman is the Senate Prime, for the free breakfast and lunch, right? Because you can't learn if you're hungry, right?
Absolutely.
You can't drive your car if you have no gas in the car, right?
Unless you got electric.
Not the privileged people laughing at the unprivileged people.
Listen. I do not have an electric car. They're too expensive for me. But for real, you can't move if you don't have it, and you can't learn if you don't have the proper nutrition that's going into your body. And honestly, a lot of these students, they only get meals at school or at their local community centers, right? So making sure we're meeting the needs where there are, if you truly want to see better test scores. Now, if we want to talk about the overall testing standards, that it could be a whole nother show on its own. I don't believe that we should be doing standardized testing, right? Because now you're teaching towards the answers instead of teaching towards life for the students. But that's a whole nother debate. And then finally, just to end the show, we have some events coming up at the PAL. We're doing cookies with Santa, with the Sigmas and Zetas. We're doing a bike giveaway if you know any children who are 8 and under. And again, just wanted to put that out there. And then on December 23rd, down at the Chase Fieldhouse, Dreams Come True, and the DSU Alumni Association, I think it's the Young Alumni Association, are doing their annual toy giveaway. Again, that is going to be huge. Last year was over 8,000 toys given out. Make sure you go online. We'll put the flyer up for that. Make sure you go register. It's completely free to the community. It's going to be a ton of resources there, as well as fun games and toys and stuff like that.
Yeah, go back on the Powell events. The cookies with Santa.
Yes.
First of all, you need to rhyme it, but you got.
I didn't come up with the name.
Deltas and not the Deltas, the Zetas and the Sigmas. So what is that event about?
It's going to be Santa. A black Santa is going to be there in a blue Christmas suit. Santa's a Sigma, I guess. I'm just saying, that's what they said. I've just promoted it. Listen, but no, it's going to be games. It's going to be toys giveaway, as well as you get. I think they're going to pre-make the cookies and then you can design them.
Oh, they go to BJ's.
Cookies, yeah.
But the question I want to ask is, what date is that event?
We will get the flyer.
We'll make sure you get a flyer. Because the reason why, because we're in that season.
Yes.
And we don't ever want to make people believe that there's not poverty in our communities. And people are banking on the generosity of people like the Zetas, the Sigmas, Deltas, and others. And we want to make sure that we're putting the word out. And we're going to make sure you get that date so you can go have some cookies with Santa in a blue uniform as opposed to
if y'all want to come over, y'all are more than welcome to come over as well too. We'll schedule all day.
Hey, we do a lot of private Santas but I'm really, even though there's a lot of competition we often do, I really want to make sure that the community is getting these events and that people are really utilizing them. And the last one you brought up was, and I didn't want to rush you, the last one you brought up was the
bike giveaway.
The bike giveaway.
Yes, that's with the Urban Bike Project.
Yeah.
That will be on the 16th. But again, if there's additional bites and stuff like that, please
The
reach
16th,
out.
that was yesterday.
Yesterday, but please reach out. If there's additional bites left, we'll be able to get them out.
Good. Well, what I want to do is, as we get ready to end this show, and I really appreciate y'all so much every year. Every show, rather, I kind of make sure I appreciate what y'all do and the wisdom that y'all bring to the table, the energy, the strength. But it was one item on our agenda today that kind of bothered me, and that was this whole Desmond resignation, Baker. Good people are walking away. You hear me always fussing with Shané, telling her, and she always coming back at me thinking I'm hearing things about her, which I do not. But good people are hard to find, and in our community, there are those people called dividers. They turn you against people so that you won't like them, you won't deal with them. But it's not until you need them that you realize the value of them. And people like Desmond, who have been a hero in many areas, helping people get things across, I know the pain and the pressure and the frustration that goes with the political process and seeing how the political cronies, people who appoint people to do certain things. And even though he's gonna do it gracefully, he's resigning gracefully, I'm just ready to spend time with my family. That man has been in this community and he's worked, and he's an architect. He knows his business. He understands what's going on, but he also sees the writing on the wall too. That whole thing about having one person to vote in agreement, that happened with me with my zoning here. You had one person to say we got one, but you had enough other people to say no, and that would then satisfy it. If the mayor wanted that to occur in Southbridge, and I'm saying this directly to the Southbridge community who want to fight people who are doing for Southbridge, but if the mayor wanted to see that happen, it would have happened. But he came to you all. You can't call the man a liar. You can't say that the man just lied to our faces. He said in that meeting that I was present in, I'm not in support of it. It doesn't fit with what we're doing. And a year later, when it's time to go through this little thing, it then failed. Let's see the writing on the wall, Southbridge, and stop this fighting. We got people in this community who are preying on you. Preying. They're preying on you. So what? They're black. Because they're black don't mean they support you.
All kinfolks ain't.
Hello, thank you. I hope you heard what Ms. Darby just shared. All kinfolks are not kinfolks. I am interested, and we're getting ready to put together a plan to show you the services that Zion Fair is providing to the community at large. And people say things like, well, everything over there is for his members. 80% of my members are doing exceptionally well in their lives. Let me say that again. 80% of my membership is doing exceptionally well in their lives. They don't need services because they have money to pay for lawyers and things of that nature. We do a whole lot, from the med program that we have here, the aftercare program that we were doing for free. In our gym, young people from this community come, they do the basketball, they do different things. We do a whole lot. But the word that was put out is only for his members, because you got people in this community who cannot stand the fact that I see their phoniness. Because a person, how could you be the president of city council, have a lot of power, give money to all the people you want to give it to, even have a court case to show that you was giving it out inappropriately, and do nothing for Southbridge, and now you're not in the office anymore, and you want to be the hero for Southbridge? Come on, people. You're not asleep. Let's stop playing the game. You got one gentleman who want to criticize Zion Fair because Zion Fair don't do nothing, and all he does is run a bar and put poison in the people's system. And we've had more crime since that bar been open again. Yes, I'm saying it. I ain't scared of nobody. But I'm just really shocked at some of the people who follow behind some of these people. We have to stop it and come together. What just happened? We took jobs from this community because this commission decided we're not going to approve the plan. So now people who may not have gone to college, who may not have gone even to high school, can't get fair employment to feed their family. You want to know why the crime is up so high? These are reasons why we have to stop it. It's a call. Let's come together and stop all this allowing people to prey on us. We're bigger than this. And my church, Zion Fair, the majority of my congregation is doing very well. We are committed to supporting community at large. And we show it by all that we do. And we're going to do a special show very shortly to share all the things that we do here at no cost. The pastor's not becoming a big shot so that he can have this, that, and the other. I did well by my life because I served in 3 different universities as dean of students. But I am always careful to watch people who prey on others. When they had power, they did nothing for you. Now they don't have power, they're your savior. No, it's called propaganda. We have to stop it. Anything else from you all today?
No.
Anything from you today?
No.
Listen, I want you to have a great Christmas this week, and I hope that you do very well by life, and we hope to see you next week. Until that time, see ya.
Take care, y'all.
Talk soon.